talk about a crypto red alert. This is Bitcoin on the 6-hour chart. That was quite the dip. Wait till you see how oversold Bitcoin was. There is so much from a technical analysis perspective that I want to go over in this video. This is the zoomed out daily chart structure that we've been tracking on Bitcoin. And as we do this, I also want to look at Cardano and also kind of just the altcoin market. I want to dig into kind of the whole essence of crypto right now. What's causing this? I don't think immediately anybody knows exactly what caused this at this very moment as I do this video. I will say a couple of things though. You go over here on Twitter, this is kind of what's trending. It's SpaceX. Bitcoin plunges almost 9% on report that SpaceX sold all its Bitcoin. And that's kind of what's trending over here. You can go over here and you can kind of look at this, $373 million worth of Bitcoin. But there's also reports. This is from watcher.guru saying we're unable to confirm reports. And it's mainly because the Wall Street Journal report that came out in relation to this news, it's one small paragraph of an article that discusses this, and it really leaves some things up for debate. It just says the document also shows SpaceX wrote down the value of Bitcoin it owns by a total of $373 million last year and in 2021 and has sold the cryptocurrency. Let's take that for what it is. And what exactly does that mean? Does it mean they sold $373 million? I'm sure we'll find out. Maybe even as I'm doing this video, news is breaking about what is going on. But this is the situation. I will say this. Besides this news, this is another headline. And I think even from a time frame perspective, this looks like this could be what really triggered the dip in crypto. China Evergrande files for Chapter 15 bankruptcy. And this is also trending on Twitter. And obviously articles being written about this. This is really big news from just a macroeconomic scale, on a global scale. And this might impact markets tomorrow when, something like stock market opens. This could really be what triggered the move. Regardless, a move was triggered, and that's what I want to discuss in this video. So please, everybody, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe right now in this crypto winter and turn those notifications on. Hit the like. Your support truly just means a lot to me as I do this crypto content. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. I just did a video earlier. We've been tracking just the very fact that Bitcoin is just in a very bullish environment of accumulation, the accumulation phase prior to the next halving. I'm not going to harp on it. We've been talking about it a lot. We've been here. Even earlier today, we're discussing this 20-week moving average, potentially Bitcoin seeing a move to the downside that we saw in 2019 before the next halving. And look at the similarities. Even on this weekly, Bitcoin just it's dipping to the downside. Right now, this move, I don't enjoy it. I like green candles. But this move is kind of refreshing. We're getting a move of consolidation on Bitcoin, and we're not even anywhere near the bear market low so far. We're looking for a potential higher low for Bitcoin. This is what I talked about in the video earlier, but let's dig into the technicals and what's happening. In the video earlier, I was discussing this red line right here. That's the 200-day moving average. I'm not going to show you a clip. This was hours ago, earlier today, and you can see that red line, around $27,000 or so, the 200-day moving average. And what does this look like now? This is the fail-safe support area that I was discussing for Bitcoin earlier, the reason why we fell below this lower trend line, and Bitcoin just, boom, right to the 200-day moving average and below it. You go over to the 6-hour chart, and we really get a sense of what just occurred. Let me show you this. So this is what the chart looks like. Finally, a move, right? We were trending down. This Bitcoin chart, you can just see kind of like slowly trending down, but it was just so sideways. This move is refreshing, at least to me. That might sound crazy, but look at the RSI on the 6-hour. You zoom out, even back here, this was in November 2022. Look at this. Bear market low. Even there, Bitcoin has fallen below that oversold on the 6-hour move. You just keep scrolling out, going back years and years and years. Look at this yellow line. The last time Bitcoin kind of looks like just touching that area all the way back here, November 2018. And what was this? Towards the bear market bottom, right? Right before capitulation, actually. So I think that's extremely interesting to just kind of see this really historic move on the 6-hour. And I'm trying to get back to where we are in the charts. But look at that, everybody. That's the move. Finally, a move of consolidation for Bitcoin. Going back to the daily chart. This is where I was going to wait until 8 p.m. Eastern to do this video for the new candle because I'm very curious. This is the biggest thing I'm watching on the short term. I'm very curious to see if Bitcoin can manage to close above the 200-day moving average. Remember, in earlier video today, I kind of called it the fail-safe support area. We're looking at, it's like a 1.5% move away. Bitcoin could very well do that on these charts. We go over here. This is a 15-minute chart. You can just see Bitcoin slowly trying to just bounce its way out of that capitulation that just happened. The question is, on the very short term, as I do this video, like 47 minutes left until the new daily candle, can Bitcoin get that energy to just go a little bit higher, a couple percent, to close up in this area, to close above, once again, this 200-day moving average? It's around $27,200 some dollars, and Bitcoin is just below that area. That's the biggest thing I'll be watching. Just notice something, and this is the biggest thing. The target out of this rising wedge, rising pattern, it's down here. It's $22,000, right? So we could get this dip to the downside. We might get a pullback to the lower trend line. We want to see if we can get a busted pattern out of this. That is to say, we pull right back into the apex, and then we actually break to the upside. That's the most bullish possible thing that could happen. But we'd have to really break through that upper trend line if it's retested, or Bitcoin might just consolidate sideways before actually continuing to its next kind of move to the downside, another swing low on its way to a target. These are things to consider, everybody, because on the weekly chart, once again, we know we have this blue line, the 50-week moving average, that's just above $23,000 to $24,000. And that's just an area Bitcoin fell to in this phase of the last cycle, right? A big fall for Bitcoin back then to the 50-week, and even just slightly below it. We could have a situation, once again, where Bitcoin's doing the same thing over the coming weeks, maybe a couple months of just downside. That's something to keep in mind at this stage of the cycle. And it's not a bad thing. Even if Bitcoin were to fall slightly below it to this target to the downside of around $21,000, $22,000, we're still putting in a higher low for Bitcoin. In this environment where we're approaching the Bitcoin halving, these things are bullish to me, and I'm just trying to, day at a time, get through all of these short-term moves. I'm just happy there's a short-term move happening right now. And that's what it looks like on the daily. So I'm going to see where Bitcoin closes this daily chart. Let's pivot over to Cardano. Some things I want to mention, not only just with Cardano, I'm going to look at another altcoin chart, but it's the ADA BTC pair. I'm going to look at, what is it? I had the Matic BTC pair. Want to just try and illustrate something. Before we do that, before we look at that, let's just look at what's going on with ADA. ADA's, again, if we're looking at these red rectangles to give us a sense of where we are in the cycles, I like to do this. It helps me visualize where we are in this cycle. Without these red rectangles, it's hard to decipher, well, is this normal? And here we are. We're right here. We're below the 20, the 50-week moving averages on the macro. Cardano's down so much. Well, last cycle, prior to the halving last time, at a similar time frame, ADA was also below the 50, the 20-week moving average after being down so much. And it actually continued just to trickle down slightly on the weekly. It was just kind of painful, right? That's where we are right now. Maybe we won't trickle down, and maybe ADA just kind of actually starts moving up. Maybe we start testing these moving averages that are extremely important on the macro. But either way, right now, ADA, as far as ADA is concerned, I use this word a lot, but this, where we are right now, is commonplace for ADA. To put it very simply, from the swing high back here in 2018 to kind of this time of the cycle last time, 96 or 97% down. And then from the swing high bull market high last cycle to where we are right now, 91% down. It's not pretty. It's not the most seemingly bullish thing on the surface, but fundamentally, if you're a value investor and if you're a macro person, it's actually the most bullish thing that could possibly be happening right now. And I just want to point that out on ADA. There's no guarantees that we're going to repeat, and cycles and crypto cycles across the board are going to repeat, and we're going to start bottoming out and start just cruising to the upside again. There's no guarantee, but this is just the way that I see things. I think what is getting ready to happen is going to be an explosive move for Cardano, because fundamentally, from a technical perspective, everything is so much different this time around. We are way more bullish than we were even back here. And ADA is just doing its thing once again. and I'm just being patient with it. Let's dig into the short-term technical analysis. What's going on here? Well, this was a clip from actually 6 days ago. Let's check it out really quick. Target to the upside, just to give you an idea. 33.5 cents out of this pattern to the downside, 24.5 cents to the downside. Notice what ADA would be doing. 24.5 cents to the downside. We tracked the potential for an upside target. You can just see right there, didn't get hit, but check this out. Doesn't matter if it's an event, a headline event, or just straight up crypto's falling. ADA saw its target. ADA hit its target. This is a daily chart. Hit its target, and at least for the short term, it's bouncing at that area, right? 24.5 cents. And we can go to 6 hour and kind of just look at what that looks like. But this is what it looks like on the daily chart. And you can just see, and this is from ADA's perspective, you know, obviously on Bitcoin, we're seeing if it can close above that 200-day moving average. On ADA, I'm curious to see if we close above any of these candles back here to see if we close higher, or is this going to be a new just swing low from this low that we put in back here off of the SEC news, right? And if you go back, we're not below the bear market low in terms of closing the candle just yet. That was right around 23, 24 cents. We're not below there. But I'm just kind of curious to see if we close below or above these candles back here where ADA bottomed out last time. If you open up the daily oscillators, namely the RSI, you can just see so far in this move, ADA just potentially getting ready to put in a higher high, or I'm sorry, a higher low, I guess we can call it, from the swing low that we did have back in June off of that SEC capitulation. That could be a bullish sign for ADA reversal out of this move. I know when we're in the move, we should anticipate downside for sure. We really should. Maybe ADA takes a break. We'll look at it on the 6 hour and goes lower. We're about to look at that. But once a target is hit for ADA on the shorter term, this target being hit, it's always nice to kind of evaluate, well, if we pull back to this lower trend line now, do we start getting new structure? It's around 26, 27 cents, closer to 27 cents. Can ADA bounce its way back into that falling channel, start forming new structure, new momentum to the upside out of oversold conditions? We go to the 6 hour, this is what it looks like. I guess the biggest thing out of this move that I'll be just anticipating, we can take our bars pattern to check this out. The last capitulation off the SEC news, right? That swing low right there of consolidation after. It's always just the nicest thing to anticipate. It could be less volatile, more volatile, but you take a move like that, and what we're really looking for is some type of short-term bounce and then consolidation, right? What we want to see is a new form of structure, whether it's higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, and lower lows. Doesn't matter, but we're looking for structure now and a little bit of a cooling off phase for ADA on the 6 hour. Look at ADA on the 6 hour. Just extremely oversold. And so if it's not going to happen right now, if there is another leg down, I think the reversal is close, at least in the short term. We might see a nice pop to the upside. Notice off of that SEC bounce, if I can find my price range, notice how that bounce, how big of a bounce that was, right? From that wick to that swing high, 30% bounce. Not saying we're going to get something like that on this move, but that was a very big bounce. We look for something similar here on the 6 hour. Going over to ADA BTC, just look at that. I just want to put this out there. This is on a 4 hour chart. We can kind of track to see what it looks like on a daily chart. You can see actually ADA BTC is green on a daily. The question is for, you know, this scenario where Bitcoin dominance is supposed to be absolutely destroying altcoins in a fear environment, why is that not happening, right? That's something to strongly consider and strongly evaluate. You can even see right now, this move to the downside, ADA BTC not even hitting oversold just yet. Maybe that means there's more downside in play for ADA to kind of actually fall into oversold. But right now, amidst this news, ADA BTC holding strong. And we go over here, I just want to point something out. I'm going to zoom all the way out here on the ADA BTC pair. Remember, these red rectangles give us a sense of this is where we were in the last time frame, right? The last cycle. Well, look how much lower ADA was entering this red rectangle back then. ADA is clearly a little bit stronger this cycle around. That's not to say we won't fall lower or just maybe we trade sideways for a while until the next Bitcoin halving, which is around here, right? But ADA is clearly operating stronger than it did last cycle. that's just bullish for me. That's bullish. We go over to Matic. I want to give just a sense of just more than just ADA, but altcoins in general. You see Matic over here. It's a red daily candle. However, look at that wick. So kind of a fear event, a capitulation event. We have two altcoins here that are holding their own against BTC. That could be very telling for the strength of altcoins this cycle around. That's something I'm going to continue to monitor. But regardless, everybody, this is the news today. You can kind of check it out for yourself over here on the X app. I really just like to search just SpaceX, for instance, and it kind of just brings up all of this news, the top news, what's going on, what people are saying, scrolling through. Let me know your thoughts, everybody. Hope you're doing well out there. Zoom out. Zoom out. This is just the way that I see things. I think we're good. But I hope you're doing well. See you in the next video. God bless.